Hi folks, and welcome back to Fishing with Den. So this time we're going to be doing my final review on the Preston Intensity 720 reel. Now, if you watch the channel regularly, you'll know I bought this towards the end of November, and I took it down to the river for a day's testing, just literally after I got it. Now, it might be that you want to have a quick look at that video before you watch this one, so I'll put a link up above now, and if you want to click on that, watch that first, and then come back to this one. Okay, so the reel itself then is designed as a heavy-duty reel for long-distance fishing. Now, I didn't need it for long distances, but I've no reason to disbelieve the fact that it can do over 100 meters. I cast a maximum of 70 meters in the few times I've used it, and I had no problems whatsoever with that. It's got a large, probably oversized spool, nice lip on it, and so the line peels off really easily. The bail arm is again very positive. It's a 3mm bail arm in diameter, and it really is very robust. Cranking wise, you've got this single handle, and I did comment in the last video that I would have preferred a double handle, but as was pointed out to me, you can get more sort of length on the arm here with a single handle, and so that's probably why they've done it. And of course, allied to that, it's got a retrieve ratio of 4.6 to 1. So with all of those factors in mind, you've got a good casting reel, which brings in plenty of line, even though it has a relatively low retrieve ratio. And so that works out very well. As far as cranking power is concerned, again, all those factors help to bring in really heavy feeders or indeed big fish. I had no problems whatsoever with getting big fish in with this reel. As for the drag, it's got a thing called speed drag system. And all that means is that if you set this to quite a light drag, it obviously spins very freely. One click, and it gives you sort of a more medium heavy drag. One more click, and you've got a fairly heavy drag. If you go one more after that, you're really tightening down on it. And in fact, this is one of the 2 points that I had an issue with. A lot of other reels have, again, a sort of a speed drag system, if you like, but it takes them sort of like a quarter of a turn to go from off to on. This one, 2 or 3 clicks, and you're either on light, medium, or fairly heavy drag. Now, I would have much preferred for them to go with a few intermediate clicks so I can get a bit more finesse in when I'm trying to use the drag, because in practice, as you'll see from this clip, I had a few issues with it.
Ooh, that's a nice fish. Just take the clutch back one click just to see how that works. Yep. Could maybe do with, as I say, just a little bit more clicks, because it seems to be one tiny click to give you a lot of drag and another little click to give you a lot less drag. In fact, I'm going to try one less click just to see how that works. Yeah, you see, it's maybe a little bit more required. I'm going to put it back one.
So as you saw there, this one click either way, and it's an either or, and it's not quite right. A couple of clicks in between would have probably done the job for me. Now, that's not to say a lot of people don't like this, they may very well do, but it wasn't really for me, and I found myself back winding quite a lot when normally I'd have been using the clutch. But of course, when you're match fishing or catching any kind of big fish, there's often a combination of back winding or drag or clutch in a combination. So that's something I probably could have got used to. The biggest problem I had was getting tangles down underneath the spool here. If I reel in like that, you'll see that it exposes a lot of the rotor. There's a big gap in here, so I was getting line going down through here and creating all sorts of problems with tangles behind the spool. So they have tried to overcome this by putting a couple of wiper blades on either side of the rotor here, but those wiper blades don't actually touch the spool, and it does allow the line to go down below it. Also, on the very lip of the spool down here, they've actually made a sort of a fatter area to try and also take away the problem of that happening. But I had it on a regular basis, and for me, I'm just not going to use the reel anymore. As I say, in many other respects, it's a great reel. I'm more than happy with it, but that tangling behind the spool there really does have give me a real problem, because I've actually been on a match where it had gone behind it and I was casting a really heavy feeder and it was a massive crack and I really thought I'd broken the rod. The feeder ended up shooting into the water in front of me, cracked off, and I've had to re-tackle. And some days I've had 3 or 4 times when it's gone behind that spool there and really just caused me so many problems. And so for that reason, and pretty much that reason alone, I'm not going to use this reel again. Now, it's not the only reel that has these shorter skirts on the spool here and creates that problem with the gap between the rotor and the spool. But this is an older Shimano reel. But what Shimano have done, if I take the spool off, they've actually created these line guards in here. And so what happens is, when you put the spool on here, the line guard actually stops the line from going down into the back behind the rotor there. So obviously Shimano have had the same sort of issue, and that's the solution they've come up with. For me, I've asked around and it would appear that the standard solution is to keep the anti-reverse on. Well, that's all very well. It may well sort of alleviate or even stop the problems of line going down the back there, but I don't always have the anti-reverse on because I get these bites which literally all but wrench the rod out of the rest. And so with the anti-reverse on, I've actually lost the rod before now, as you can see here. Yeah, frightening, isn't it? But it does happen. And that's the last thing I want for the whole lot to go in. And another alternative would be to just take this back 2 or 3 clicks and keep the anti-reverse on, and then it would free spool like a bait runner. Well, again, fine, but if it free spools and you've got clipped up, it hits the clip and again the rod's gone. Or you may not necessarily remember to loosen the spool off, and again the rod's potentially gone. So for me, I'm afraid this reel didn't make the cut, and it's going to be sitting in the cupboard now. As I say, perfectly good reel in most other respects, but that one is really the thing which is making me look towards another reel. So anyway, that's it for the review. I hope you found it useful. If you did, click the button. If you want to subscribe, feel free. And until the next time, bye for now.